Childhood and Growing Up. This is for B.Ed first year, exclusively for Pondicherry University, explained by Dr. Shubha, Vasavi College of Education, Pondicherry. Unit 9, Personality and Social Cognition. Under this, we will be learning meaning of personality, self-concept, self-acceptance, self-actualization, self-confidence, self-interest, self-disclosure, self-development, self-help, symbols of self, culture and the self, self-discrepancies, threats to self-esteem and social cognition. Meaning of personality. Now, what's this personality? This may be defined as the organization of all the physical, mental and social qualities in an individual that manifests in a particular way while he interacts with the environment. Thus, personality includes in it the organization of various dimensions of the individual, like that of his difficulties, his interests, his intelligence, his capacities, which emerge out of the individual's interactions with the environment, including the social environment. That is, when somebody is talking to you, the mannerism which he exhibits, the power, the assertiveness which he shows, his physical, his body language, his mental bias, his socializing capabilities, everything makes a personality. This is the sum of the activities that can be discovered by actual observation over a long enough period of time to give reliable information. The word personality is synonymous with the consistent behavior pattern of an individual. That is, if one person is very jovial at one time, in the morning, in the evening he is in an angry mood, next day he is in a pensive mood, so that you cannot judge his personality. So it is a consistent behavior pattern. Martin Prince tried to give personality a broader base by accepting the role of both environmental factors and hereditary factors in constituting what is termed as personality. In his words, personality is the sum total of all the biological innate disposition, impulses, tendencies, instincts of the individual and the disposition and tendencies acquired by experience. That is the maturity of the behavior. Personality comes through biological factors also. That's what Martin Prince says. That is, father and mother, they are good, they are serene, they are of very composed character, then the son or the daughter will also have that. If the father and mother, they are fighter cocks, then naturally the personality of the children will also get some of that from their parents. So, the sum total of all the biological innate dispositions, that is also contributes to personality. That's what Martin Prince suggests. This is something unique and specific to each and every one. It's specific. You cannot generalize a personality for this group, for that group, like that. Each one of us is a unique person in oneself. Every one of us has specific characteristics for making adjustments. However, the uniqueness of an individual's personality does not mean that he has nothing to share with others in terms of traits and characteristics of personality. Traits means what? The habits which he exhibits. While interacting with the environment, every human being manifests many personality characteristics or traits. Each one of the triads manifests in every part of the individual's total behavior. See, a person can behave in a different way with his wife, in a different way with his mother, and he may behave in a differently in an office, in a party. When he is sad, he can be in a different way. So it's the sum total of the triads and the characteristics. All the triads are related in such a way that they are integrated into one unit. It is the organization of the triads, the strands of characteristics which he exhibits is called a triads, in a unique fashion that is referred to as personality. We continue to shape our personality all our life. That is, once we get matured, once we get older, we can exhibit our personality. We can, by the way we look at other person will give them an assertive feeling. So that's it. Personality is an unbroken series of successful gestures. I use bits and pieces of others' personalities to form my own. Yes, I don't think we'll ever get along. Why am I as I am? I want freedom for the full expression of my personality. That is, whatever happens, whatever may be the opposite party talks to me, in however manner the opposite party deals with me, let me not lose my cool and composure. So that's one personality. There are some important determinants which influence this personality. Genetic determinants, which comes from biological characteristics. Heredity is of two types. Biological heredity, which the child inherits from his forefathers in the form of chromosome, that is in the cell. The second is social heredity. So first one is in the genes only, in the genes, genetic. Second one is social heredity, which means all that one generation gets from preceding generation in the form of social traditions, customs, skills, etc. Each generation transmits the acquired skills and knowledge to the coming generation, to the succeeding generation. So the social determinants are: environment influences begin since the time of the conception of the child in the womb of the mother. Mother's mental, physical and emotional conditions influence the development of the fetus in the womb. The external environment starts from the time of the birth of the child. So, when the child is inside the mother's womb, only the mother's physical and mental is controlling the child. But when the child comes out, then the external environment starts. Physical and geographical condition of the environment plays an important role in shaping distinctive personality characteristics in human beings. A child who is brought up in a village is certainly different from a child who is brought up in a city, and that also in bigger cities. So, a child who is born in an elite family naturally gets a very strong personality. So the characteristics differ a lot based on the geographical conditions of the environment. So this physical and geographical environment create social environment of home greatly influences the personality development. Culture also plays a very prominent key role. Every society is characterized by its cultural heritage, which is transmitted from the generation to generation in the form of social heredity. Indian society as it is very rich as regards its cultural heritage. Biological inheritance is the same in human beings all over the world, but the cultural conditions in the individual of different cultural groups are different. Culture is a great educator of human beings. Now, what is culture? Culture is nothing but the way of life, the way you behave, the way you think, the way you dress, the way you eat. So culture is the great educator. Sometimes directly it influences, and sometimes indirectly it trains you, and that passed on to the next generation, and it leaves a permanent impression on the personality of the child. Actually, we have only meaning of personality in this unit, but I just want to give you a hint about personality theories, which you will be learning in another subject. So personality theories are psychoanalytic theory, socio-psychological theory, triad theory, and self theory. So there are 4 theories, and there are so many proponents for these theories. So we will have a gist of that. Now let's see the theories. The first one, psychodynamic theory. The founding persons are Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, and others, mainly Sigmund Freud. Now what's the key point? People are viewed as struggling between their animal instincts and the pressures of socialization. So there is a struggle between the basic instinct and the pressure of socialization. I just give you an example. In school, let's suppose the children are asked to assemble and stay calm for 5 minutes, stay in silence for 5 minutes. Morning, Gandhi's Memorial Day or somebody else's. They don't want to stay calm, some of them, but they have to remain calm, because in that community, in that society, in that school, they have to obey the order. Like this, everybody, they have a struggle between their basic instinct and the way they have to socialize. Somebody may not like to wear a tie. Somebody may not like to wear a coat, suit and all, but he is forced to wear because he is working in that position. So the position or his work demands that he has to wear coat, suit and tie. So this is the struggle between the basic instinct and the pressure of socialization. Now the next is personality triad. Now what is this triad? The strands of characteristics, the behavior. Main persons, Gordon Allport and Hans Eysenck. People exhibit consistent psychological traits such as extraversion or deceitfulness. So he says everybody, somehow or the other, they will exhibit their extraversion. We say introvert and extrovert. Outgoing, their outgoing nature will also be exhibited somehow or the other, and the deceitfulness, their cheating nature will also be exhibited. So that's what personality, their personality will somehow be it will be known to others, their innate characteristics. Next is humanistic, Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. People are viewed as seeking personal growth, striving towards becoming their complete self. Everybody, everyone is trying to be a complete person, to reach that self-actualization. That's what Abraham Maslow says, and Carl Rogers also. So this is humanistic approach for personality. Next is social cognitive, George Kelly and Walter Mischel. People behave according to how they cope with the social pressures and solve social problems. So what are the pressures? If their life is easy, go smooth, then there won't be any problem for them. They will exhibit excellent personality. But if there is a social pressure, how they handle it, how they handle the social problems. So society and their cognition, the way of handling the social pressure. That is the personality. So there are 4 views given by Sigmund Freud, Alport, Carl Rogers and Maslow and George Kelly. The same thing again, psychoanalytic perspective, emphasize on childhood experiences and the unconscious mind. So the major persons, key persons, Freud, Erikson and Jung, Carl Jung. Humanistic perspective, psychological growth, free will and personal awareness, Maslow and Rogers, Carl Rogers. Triad perspective, identifying, describing and measuring personality traits, that is behaviors, Eysenck, Costa and others. Social cognitive perspective, observational learning, self-efficacy and situational influences. Major theorist is Bandura. Again, psychoanalytic, unconscious fears, beliefs, desires drive behavior. So the behavior is set by the beliefs, fears, which is unconscious. That's what he says. And personality is set at childhood and determined mostly by relationships. Basic human nature is a struggle between good and evil. This is what Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Erik Erikson, they are saying. And they used so many assessment techniques like ink blot and thematic apperception, test, dream analysis, but small sample size and past based, no means to change, overly concerned with sex and conflict. Humanistic, environment impacts personality, that's what they say. Conscious processing of one's feelings and experiences via interactions with the physical and social environment. So he says basic human nature is good. We all strive to be better and reach our potential. So Abraham Maslow, he says hierarchy of needs. Carl Rogers, client-centered therapy. And the assessment techniques and the evaluation you can just see. The triad theory says biological temperament, extroversion or neuroticism influence behavior. He says basic human nature can be either good or bad depending on one's genetic predispositions. Hans Eysenck and Cattell says. I just want to tell you Freud's theory in brief for this lesson, because this is really important and you should know about Sigmund Freud. His psychoanalytic theory. Freud's theory suggests that personality is composed of the id, the ego and the superego. Now what is the id? The unorganized, the inborn part of personality, whose purpose is to immediately reduce tensions relating to hunger, sex, aggression and other primitive impulses. It is immediately you need to satisfy your hunger. Immediately you need to satisfy your sex drive. And aggressive behavior, immediately you have to show it. So this is what? Unorganized. You don't think and you don't systematize. This is unorganized. And it is inborn part of personality, the id. Now what is this ego? It restrains instinctual energy in order to maintain the safety of the individual and to help the person to be a member of the society. We all have ego, that is the I. I need to be somebody in the society. I need to be respected. So the ego, the I. Now what is the superego? The rights and wrongs of the society and consists of the conscious and ego ideal. So let me tell you again in the picture next. Now look at this picture. You have unconscious well below the surface of awareness. So the awareness is down below, that is unconscious, and you have conscious above, conscious, preconscious, unconscious. Can you see all the three? Under conscious, the top level, you have ideas, thoughts and feelings which we are aware, we are conscious. What idea I have? I am conscious. I am talking to you. Yes, I am conscious. Now what is preconscious? The material that can be easily recalled. Now presently I'm talking to you in English, but I know Hindi. So preconscious, I can recall the same thing and I can narrate this in Hindi or Tamil. So that is preconscious. Unconscious, well below the surface of awareness. So unconscious, I have something in my mind. Now where is this id? The id is unconscious. It's pleasure principle, unconscious urges and desires. So if I am conscious, then if somebody is distributing a sweet and I am a teacher or I am holding a position, then I will not go and easily ask, give me also one, though I like that sweet a lot. But my id, unconsciously I will go and show my hand. Even I need one. So that is. So pleasure principle. I want to satisfy. I want to eat that sweet because I crave for that. So unconscious, id. Now what is this ego? It is partly in the conscious and the preconscious. Self-reality principle. It's in the conscious stage, that is, I know my ego is that I don't want to go and ask that sweet from that person. But if at all I can get also, that is ego. Now superego. Ego, ideal, moral, guardian. Now this is lying in all the three, but unconscious will be more. So can you see the partition? Superego is also there. Now what is this integrated personality? Integrated personality implies harmony between 5 important aspects of personality. Now what are these 5 aspects? Harmony between one's abilities and capabilities. Harmony among one's interest. Between one's abilities and interests. Between one's self-concept and social constraints. Between one's life goals and social codes of conduct. That is, what is my ability? That should be with my interest. That should correlate with my self-concept and social constraints. That is, how much I can extend, how much I can do, and what is my goal, and what is the social code of conduct. According to Skinner, the characteristics of an integrated personality are harmonious development of thoughts, feelings, intentions to activity, affection, sympathy, and a desire to cooperate with others, and confidence in one's abilities as well as awareness of one's weakness. Totally, you need to know where you stand. Now what is my strength? What is my weakness? I should know about that. So once I know that, then I am an integrated personality. Then I will know to which extent I can show off myself. Okay.